or anything?
I've been
And then
watching
let me
shit.
go. All right, then let me go last, cause I got something I gotta talk about.
Okay. We are set there, 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 there.
There's no crying in baseball. Apparently, they have never met a coach.
Apparently, they'd never watched baseball. I freaking cry from how boring that sport is to watch.
Thank you.
Shots fired.
It's awful.
Oh, actually, I get bored by football. I get bored by baseball. I get bored by bored by all sports.
Of course you do.
I can watch basketball. I can watch football, baseball. No, it's not happening.
It's like I don't even care about anime about
Soccer,
sports.
I can freaking.
I love Roku Boo
Soccer I
though.
can watch.
But I
Even
love Roku
football I
Boo.
can watch more than baseball.
Yeah. Lolies in tight shorts is the greatest thing.
Okay, there we go.
But
That.
of course you do, VC.
Okay. Ready on my end.
Me too.
I've been ready, so yeah.
Okay.
Get the link going out here.
Yep, good call.
I love the fact that people have I love the fact that the reaction people have when I tell them the name of it. At first, they're confused almost every time.
NTR Radio.
Yeah, they're just like, wait, what?
Do you explain what it means, or do you want?
Oh, they know what it means. That's why they're saying, wait, what?
Yeah.
They're like, what is it about? Ways to steal people's girlfriends?
See, I didn't want to explain to Josh what NTR means.
Eh.
Son of a bitch.
You know. Because I would have had it.
Impossible to friggin' select.
Yeah. I'd explain what tsundere was.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Felt like I could have done a better job on that, though. But, yeah.
Okay, we'll do this the hard way.
What's going on?
You know, apparently this is gonna be the fucking easy way. Is
the easy way, the hard way. The easy way. And then Marty McFly wakes up.
you on that?
We could do this the hard way or the easy way.
And
Marty makes Superfly.
okay, we all ready?
Yes, we are.
In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to NTR Radio. I'm Tom Enforcer Anubis.
I'm K-Gods.
And I am VZ Mark II.
So, what's been going on?
Quite a bit. I was a little bored, so I ended up watching a dub of Senran Kagura.
You must have been really bored.
Yes, I was. But I thought, okay, lesbian boob ninjas, the anime. Let's see how they dubbed it.
Was it good?
They did the typical dub job.
There you go.
Yeah. By the way, don't ever watch the dub for like. The worst to watch dubs for is anything where it's like schoolgirls, because that stuff does not work.
I don't know, man. The Apate dub was fantastic. I stand by that.
Don't watch the K-On dub. Definitely do not watch the Lucky Star dub.
Well, okay. A lot of cases, it seems like, depending on how Japanese it is in terms of, like, you know, the story.
Dangerously Japanese?
It's dangerously Japanese. You heard it here.
Yeah. What's her face?
Lucky Star is dangerously Japanese.
You know, the Haganai. I don't know if you ever saw the dub for that. Because I mean,
I don't think I have actually.
I just the trail. I just like the trail. I'm like, nope, gonna keep it in Japanese. You know, the only like I could watch. It's weird. It's like I could watch dubs for old things, either like the stuff like Angel Cop and all those violent OVAs, or sometimes even old stuff where that's like the only available.
So but that's probably for the high cornball factor.
That. Yeah. Well, also like some of the streamlined stuff was better acted.
Yeah. Okay. I'll concede to that.
Even like I'll agree with what Daryl Surratt said. It's well acted. It's just what they're saying. Because sometimes they had to like smush the script a little bit, smush around the script to make it fit around because it wasn't one.
You mean like the kung fu movies?
Well, no. I mean, like kind of like change what they're saying a little bit, Although never as bad as like, well, actually, no. See, I love the stuff where they add like reduced amount of swearing in those early '90s dubs.
Yeah, that's when they were trying to promote the stuff as it's not kids stuff, basically.
Yeah, which they called 15ing in England because. Apparently says having someone's brains fly out, that won't get, that's fine, but cursing, that will bump up the level of.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Been planning out what we're going to be watching, I'm sure.
Sorta.
Okay, so I'll tell you what I've been doing. Well, first off, props again to Cube the Third because I watched the Monica movies on my TV, and looks great, great quality, great Blu-ray quality. Too bad I can't I can't understand. Like there's a commentary track, but there's no subs for that track.
Oh.
That seems awkward.
Well, because it's literally, you gotta understand that type of like release. That's literally you're buying the Japanese. It's just it has English subtitles, but it has subtitles for like a bunch of languages. It's not even default. Like you have to go in on the menu to put in the English.
Okay.
I still think that's kind of useless, but go on.
Okay. The other thing is. I was telling you guys this last week, but I want to say it on the show. For the show, I watched this harem show that I did not watch when it was airing. It aired the same season that Vivid Red was airing. That was the winter of 2013. Called Orishura. It's short. The name is short for My Girlfriend and My Childhood Friend Fight Too Much.
I can feel Anubis getting mad.
Okay, I have to tell you, I really enjoyed that show. It's a pretty good harem. Apparently it wasn't super popular when it aired in Japan, so no season 2. I kind of liked where at least it ended, which is fine. It's well, actually, the part that's gonna make Anubis mad is the way I'm gonna describe it. Is it's kind of like Shunibyo meets Nisekoi.
That sounds like something I wouldn't be pumped for at all.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I like Shunibyo, but fuck Nisekoi.
Well, I only say Nisekoi because the main girl and the main character are like in a fake relationship. Also, the main girl's kind of a bitch. She even says, "I'm a bitch." But but the other characters are nice, especially the Chuni girl. There's one girl that's a Chunibyo. I don't know. I was just really liking. I just really was surprised. Sometimes you don't necessarily watch things as it airs, and then it's like you see it later on. It's like, oh wow, how did I miss this?
Just slipped through the cracks. You were busy watching other shit.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I knew of it, and I saved screen caps and such always at like places like Japanese message boards and such. But it's again, I can't watch everything as it airs.
Exactly, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. Stuff is always going to slide through it. I mean, I'm not trying to like make a bad analogy to like White Castle or something. It's going to slide through, but
Yeah.
Wow.
So I recommend that as a good harem show. What else have I been watching? That's all I can recall. That's important. I did the thing with Josh V that I told you about. That went quite well.
okay. Except for some commentary.
No, not really. I mean, I had to explain what I was explaining what Moe was, and
No. That's not what I mean. I mean spectators.
yeah. There was one guy that said I was creepy, but
See, I would run with that.
I mean, I tried to explain what tsundere was to Josh, because he's heard of these things, but he doesn't really know it. And I try to explain the best in layman's terms these things.
I just got this funny visual in my head of Anubis going, "They're a bitch."
That's sort of the case.
They're bipolar. Apparently there's this game that
they have daddy issues.
Yeah, there's this game. I think it's for PS3 or something that got reviewed, and they translated tsundere as bipolar.
Hmm.
I bet all the ableism people are really pissed off about that.
Yeah, no kidding. But they're probably mad that people have that have mobile chairs and shit too.
Mm-hmm.
That you can move around, kick your foot, and shoot it across the floor.
Yeah. Hey, I've been looking on YouTube for like 80s horror movies. I was watching like The Toxic Avenger, and yesterday I was watching one called Brain Damage. And I
know that one.
And I was thinking, someone's got to make a horror movie that's where all the victims are like social justice warrior hipsters.
I'd just be happy if they stopped making horror movies.
I can't get on board with that. I mean, I'd be happy if they stopped making these PG-13 ones.
Yeah, that's the start. I like I love what I love about the 80s ones is the practical effects. It was right before the CG boom, and it's like, so you had a lot of like puppetry and stop motion.
Buckets of gore.
Yes, I was just thinking that. And they just didn't care. Like, they weren't trying to make, like, the stuff today maybe is like you said, PG-13, because they're trying to get as much.
They're trying to ensnare a bigger audience.
Yeah, it's like, fuck that. It's a horror movie. It's supposed to,
It's not supposed to be a babysitter for your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those genres of film that really, really is shitty right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just watched. My dad had a copy from his friend. I was watching the movie Maleficent. Can't pronounce that.
Getting the dropping.
It was all right. The one about the Sleeping Beauty thing. It was all right. It was decent. Nothing. I don't know. That's another thing that there's too much of, is a lot of these. Let's try to reimagine fairy tales as gritty and.
You mean how most of them originally had an origin in?
Hey, true. Which is funny because I read the reviews and it was like, this is too dark for its source material, and I'm like, real, yeah.
That's like complaining about explaining someone the origin of London bridges falling down.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they're like, that's too dark, but that's where it fucking came from.
Or the origin of what's the one that was based on the
It's
the
Ring
Black
Around
Death?
the Rosie.
Yeah. Or catch a tiger by the toe.
Yeah, most of that it ends up with racial epithets right there.
Yeah.
I know as a child of the '80s.
Yeah, so I've been watching a little bit of Build Fighters. Been catching up on that.
Nice.
Oh, I thought I was under the assumption you'd already finished that.
No,
Oh,
I'm on episode like 18, 19, something like that, 17.
holy crap!
But no, it's pumping me up.
That show really like rekindled my interest in Gundam, like because as I love I love the fact that I just love seeing all these different mobile suits from different series fight each other.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I mean that's
all these freaking custom things.
That's a key selling point. Yeah, and it really is a selling point.
Yeah.
And even though like it helps if you know a decent amount of where it came from, in some sense you could watch it and not have to.
Yeah, you can go into it blind as far as Gundam goes, and it can be that show. I mean,
Right.
plenty like my whole anime club loved it, and a lot of them haven't watched any Gundam at all.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with that is basically like you said, you don't need to have that background, but if you do, it's more rewarding.
If you do, you get pumped a lot more often. Like when you see the Confer Amazing, or there was a super custom Zaku from Gunpla Builders in there for like 8 seconds, and then it got wrecked, and I was pumped. 'Cause that's my favorite. That's one of my favorite suits ever.
I've been seeing what some of the new the suits are coming out. Because I always look at what model kits are coming, and they already have like the lineup of stuff. They're gonna do like an Easy 8.
Ooh.
They're doing a. It's supposed to be Gain, but it's also the suit from Gyra or something from like Double Zeta. That looks kind of like Gain. So they're doing that.
See, I'm not pumped about that one.
Yeah.
It's like bad squared.
Well, here's the thing. You know what it reminds me of? Here's what Gundam MILF Fighters reminds me of. And no, I'm not going to quit saying that. Gundam MILF Fighters reminds Jesus. Gundam MILF Fighters reminds me of those shows they used to have. I think it was on the History Channel where they had barbarians versus barbarians.
Oh, like
Or they'd put the Huns against like a modern military or something like that.
Deadliest Warrior.
Yeah. So, I can't remember what the show is called.
I'm pretty sure it was Deadliest Warrior.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
When they matched up like, I don't know, like current weaponry against like the Mongols or something like that.
And I think at some point they just started matching up like current day special forces, like SEALs versus SAS or something like that.
Right.
I hate
so
how,
you do know what I'm talking about, okay?
Yeah.
I really hate how people complained about it's a toy. It's like
the original one was.
Gee, but that's what I love about it. I love that it's blatantly,
Hey, you know what? It's working.
Yeah. It got me interested back into Gundam, and I've been buying stuff because of that. Not stuff particularly from that per se, but
I mean, I'm holding the box right here. It's working.
oh yeah, Mr. Zabi. Yeah, you should get a bear guy. Bear.
No, I'm not getting the bear guy.
You don't want a bear guy?
It's cute, but it's dumb.
They're actually doing another one.
I'm a big fan of the ones that said, "Hey, let's take this awesome mobile suit and make it more awesome," like the Super Custom Zaku F2000 or the Mr. Zabi.
They're doing another bear guy for this new Build Fighters, and its backpack is a smaller bear guy.
So it's like I think it's the Seraphim and the Ceravi from 00 season.
Yeah.
Got
this little bear
That design
guy.
was dumb, by the way. 90% of the designs in 00 season are dumb, by the way.
Which, we'll get to that on a different show.
Yeah.
But
But other than build fighters, I've been working on something that's sort of kind of tangentially related.
Sorta kinda.
Long story short, pretty soon I'm gonna start working toward getting my pilot's license.
That is awesome. I love the idea of you having a personal private jet that we all get on to go across
the
doing
NTR.
The NTR Radio Express.
and
Those
then
baller-ass private jets with like a casino in it.
And
now,
it'd be like Final Fantasy. The Setzer has that casino on the airship.
Wait. Now I have to know. Will there be maids on said?
Of course there are going to be maids. What kind of dumb question is that?
Who do you think you're talking to? Task Force MOE Spec Ops. Yes, there's going to be maids on the NTR Radio Express private jet.
In fact, I think he's probably going to hire Japanese manga artists to actually paint the actual jet.
Yeah.
Can we have them when they bend down and you see like this? Do you want something? And they bend down and you see their cleavage.
It's just like on the side of it, it's just like this big bent over cuckolding like thing going on.
Kantoku do the nose art.
So it'll just be someone with a
private jet.
It'll be like a maid with like a gigantic sniper rifle or something.
Yeah.
You know,
another maid using her butt crack like hoist the actual gun.
That's the bipod.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like
now I got that.
You gotta stop farting. I'm trying to get the sights. Let's quit moving. Okay, that was bad. So
I'm working towards getting my pilot's license.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Any anime news you guys want to talk about?
Actually, yeah. Let's kind of talk about this since it's the next time you hear us, we'll actually have been watching the new season.
Yeah.
At least based off upon our usual schedule.
Right.
So, all right, we got Gundam Mill Fighters Try.
Yeah.
Watching that.
I'm pumped for that.
That's going to be awesome. And then we have...
Reconquista.
Yeah, Geno Reconquista, which is Tamino... I don't know.
Back, son.
Well, the new kit, the kit for the new for the main, just came out. It looks pretty. Design-wise, it looks pretty good.
I do like the design.
Yeah.
I mean, I love his stuff as a whole. Really, I mean, I didn't care for those Zeta movies, and everybody knows why. But beyond that, you know, I was a little worried because he said it was going to be more friendly and whatnot, and then I read shit about there being cannibalism.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's like, what?
Yep, Tamino's back.
Yeah, but even if it's like the original Gundam, it's like, you know, gassing colonies.
Yeah. See, I want to know what that entails by being friendly.
You know, dude, even Evangelion was kind of, you know, it aired during like a children's anime time slot.
It almost got yanked a couple times.
Yes. And again,
remember that.
if you ever want to watch something great, I seen it on YouTube. Watch a thing where Hideki Anno talks to school children.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
And they're all asking about questions about Evangelion. It's great. It's like, these kids are watching Eva, and it's like,
I need my nerve medication.
And what are kids? What are sixth graders here watching? You know, it's like
South Park,
Dora the Explorer.
I don't know. I think they're more into Miley Cyrus twerking.
Nope.
I think you broke him.
The main difference between America and Japan, you know, sixth graders watch twerking here. Sixth graders in Japan watch Evangelion. You know.
Well, more recently it would be lowly basketball players. But there's other stuff out there.
Yep.
Okay. Amagi Brilliant Park.
Yep.
Yeah,
I got me pumped about that.
I am pumped about that.
Here's another reason why I'm actually pumped for it. Okay, there was a tiff between there was some like or something about I don't know what you would call it, between the Kiowani and the light novel author, because the light novel has fan service, and Kiowani is actually pretty chaste.
The more you look at their stuff, kind of in retrospect, the more you kind of realize that.
Yeah, they've never been real big on the fan service.
I mean, they're not competing with Studio
And
Feel.
this one has like in the trailer you see one of the fairy girls like chest bouncing, and it's like,
yes, 1080p boob jiggles.
yeah, and I don't know, I've just got like I like both. Chinibyo and even Kyokai Kanado, which, by the way, that Kyokai Kanado movie is going to be a recap. I like those things, but I'm glad this thing's not Edgemaster.
I like that word.
It's all right, but I'm tired of Edgemaster stuff.
I like the idea of that being like a legitimate class. Edgemaster.
Okay, I'm also pumped for the show called Girlfriend Beta. Like, holy shit, the Seiyu lineup is like amazing. It's got, for example, here's some of the ones. There's Aki Toisaki.
Preach it, son.
Yeah, Rei Kugamiya, Ayana Takatatsu, Emery Kato. It's yeah.
It's an all-star lineup.
Yeah. No Kanasumi though, but you can't get everyone. But so there's that.
It's gonna need a lot more than just famous Seiyu to get me on board.
Well, I'm sure once the trailer, but I'll probably even post that on my blog, like once an actual is. And the other one that just because the premise is so stupid, it might be amazing. The one with the twin tails.
Yeah, that's on my back burner, as in like if I got more time and stuff.
Yeah, I also want to check out that one, the manga, the one about the manga shop.
Yeah. Don't forget the strike, which is Operation Victory Arrow.
Oh yeah. I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all you gotta realize is I saw Trude in a maid outfit.
Oh, I saw Heidi Marie in a maid outfit, and I'm like,
okay.
Yeah. And they also advertised the one for the second, which is going to be Lokini and Shirley.
There we go.
Ooh, yeah. For those who haven't been keeping up with that, this actually takes place between the second season and the movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. So I'm guessing the third one will be about Yoshika. And I'm
ever getting better at grinding on brooms. I'm sorry, that scene is fantastic. It just the angles, the noises.
Oh yeah, it's rubbing.
Yeah. Basically, there was another thing that looked really good. It was a Studio Feel thing. I can't remember what it was. By name.
I will look at that right now.
I don't have the list open, I'm sorry.
I do.
You'll know it when you see it, I'm sure.
I'll tell you what I'm not watching, though.
Uh-oh.
Wake Up Girls Zoo.
Oh, yeah. I actually saw a tiny bit. I was like, yeah. It's holy shit, is that, like, trying... Like that is basically Damage Control Yamakan style. He's basically trying to rip off the Puchimas. Yeah.
Girls aren't even as cute as the Poochies.
You know what I'm not watching?
Terraformers?
Yeah, black people as roaches.
No, they're not black people. I don't know why white people keep saying they're black people.
I know it looks. I know what they're trying to put, but still looks. Let me see.
I found the Studio Feel thing. Well,
what's it called?
Studio Feel thing. You're gonna make me say this title. And I'm gonna be really
that's
mad.
That's why I couldn't remember it, probably because it's fucking long.
All right. Uchiha. I
get a better idea.
Mission failed.
Kushina wareta mirai wo motomete.
Here's a better idea. Just read the description.
Story is set in one autumn in the beginning of the 21st century in the Ushiyama area. See, I can read it fast, but then all the Japanese words slow me down.
Start sounding like you're drunk.
Uchiyama Academy is growing by leaps and bounds. With the construction of a new school building, there will be one last general club festival in the old building that is slated to be closed.
Yeah, I think that's it because it had the idea with like, it almost sounded like it had like a haunted house almost type of thing going on.
Yeah. Wait. Let me find it on the Annie chart. Is it?
It's near the bottom. It's under you.
Okay. To be, isn't there more than one though this season?
I've not seen it yet.
Oh, I don't see it though. But
well, hang on. Okay. This is totally unprofessional, but I'm gonna look for it because now it's pissing me off.
Wait. No, I'm thinking of. Oh, yeah. I see the thing that you're talking about now. Yeah, Phil. A lot of people seem to be pumped for the last thing here. Yuki Yuna wa Yushi de Aru.
I swear to God, I'm so done with these long titles.
Anubis was right. That's the right one. The Ushinawa Reta Mirai wo Motomete.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the one I meant.
Terraformers. More than meets roaches in the skies.
Are they fucking serious about this Infinite Stratos OVA? Can we please let that die? Can we just let it die?
See, you know the thing like the stone cutters in The Simpsons that it's like all these things that they're responsible for that they're singing about. I'm sure the extra thing would have been we make Infinite Stratos popular.
They made Infinite Stratos popular specifically to get me very angry.
But seriously,
that's such a garbage show.
Sunrise is pumping out a lot of stuff this season.
Yeah.
Like look, Aikatsu 3rd season, Gundam Geno Reconquista.
Don't forget they're doing the Love Life movie.
Right.
And then they're doing the Origin later.
Oh yeah.
Cross Anga Tenchi no Ryu
I'm
no
so
Rondo.
Pumped for the Origin.
Oh yeah, me too. I just like the idea of it actually.
Yeah.
Trigger's coming up with that the Moe show. That's going to piss people off.
The Moe show.
Ino Battle wa Nichijou ke no Nakande. Yeah, Anubis is trained. Don't.
Yeah, no.
I can feel his frustration. And yes, of course, its source is a light novel. Of course Naturally. It is. And then, of course, Gundam MILF Fighters Try.
Of course.
I always say, yeah, A1 Pictures always has a lot of stuff, too, they've been doing. I don't know, some stuff I need to hear word of mouth after.
Sometimes I go with that sometimes as well.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes some stuff I just don't bother with until someone tells me, hey, this was really good.
Wow, A1 Pictures has 3 shows this season.
Try not to OD, guys.
Don't be JC Staff, you know.
What, stretching yourself too thin?
Having crazy amount of shows that they're always working on, and then it shows. Because the thing about that studio is most of their stuff looks really good, and it tends to show.
Right.
But sometimes I feel better when you have less, which is why KyoAni is so well liked because they don't make that many. Even though
they how do I word this? They're
not stretching their resources.
Thank you.
Yeah, because they know. I think the thing with KyoAni is they know. Okay, we have a finite amount of resources that are going in and out. We can't make too much, which is why it is smart that they're done with Haruhi. I don't care what anyone says. It is a smart thing that they're done with Haruhi.
That's not to say I wouldn't. I don't miss seeing her running around.
I'd be pumped if they made more Haruhi.
Well, the only thing with the
What
only
I
thing
wouldn't be pumped for is more Full Metal Panic.
they're gonna make more of they're gonna make that thing that's based on the four coma with Yuki.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't know. Nobody knows if it's actually Kiwani doing that. Because we've been noticing a lot of studio. I've been noticing, and a lot of people noticing a lot of studio changes for these things that are continuing. Like I'm actually pumped. Like they're doing it for me only. They're doing an OAD for an OVA for Yuri,
Mm-hmm.
but it's going to be a different studio.
Right.
And it's weird because the character designs look identical to Doba Kogo, which is weird that they still got it listed as Doba Kogo here, but it's not. It's a different studio. It looks identical, but the colors, instead of being like saturated, are kind of muted. I mean, it might have been just in the environment because they were kind of indoors. I don't know, but it didn't seem as bright. Like someone put the contrast down.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, I see where the Infinite Stratus OVA.
Yeah.
Anubis is
no.
like, unless that shows Cecilia doing a striptease for 50 minutes, I am not watching that.
Unless it's 100% Cecilia doing shit and no combat whatsoever, I'm not doing it.
Watamoto's getting an OAD.
I can respect that.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
Yeah. I don't like its fans though, because a lot of people see it as like the anti-Moe thing.
Well, they're just
like,
wrong.
Fuck no. Fuck no. All right. Do you not?
And we're about to, in the next segment, we're about to talk about why they're wrong.
All right. Exactly.
So,
on that note,
with all that in mind,
we're up on the break. Keep it right here on NTR Radio.
All right.
Okay, hit that button.
All right. I will be right back.
Roger.
Nature calls.
yeah, I better do it too.
Hey, Anubis.
Yo.
You sure you're not? You sure you don't think Terraformers isn't racist? Because two of the characters are actually named Adolf and Ava.
I'm sure Terraformers isn't racist. If it was racist, I would be offended by it. So done with white people trying to tell friggin' other races what they should be offended by. It's like what? I live this every day. What the fuck? What the fuck do y'all know about this shit?
Check your privileges. I gotta check my privileges, you know.
Yeah, I gotta check mine.
Cause
I'm gonna cash that check.
Cause you know, I'm white and I'm male, you know. I'm sorry I'm white. I'm sorry I'm male.
Still, I think it's hilarious people actually buy into that shit.
Mm. Did K-Gods go for a sec?
Yeah, he went to do something.
This is they're reissuing this robot Damashi of the Wing Zero custom.
With the angel wings?
Yes. And I'm like, oh, I want that because it's a good price. But I'm like, oh, let me see if I could get a comic. Let me see if they have it at a Comic-Con first. You know. Even though it comes the day of, but maybe they'll be nice and bring some over or something. Because Bandai was there last year.
Hmm.
And I was like, I hope they have that fucking Dragon art that just came out. I want that, like, you know. And I don't even like the Dragon art anime. Love the Dragon art design. It's awesome.
Sorry about that. Sorry, had a pelvic cramp.
Uh-oh.
Well, it must have been all that talk of Cecilia. No, but really, I actually just needed to get something to drink.
Yeah, I like the teacher from Infinite Stratos. I don't remember anything from that show really.
That's probably for the best.
And I watched a decent chunk of it. I don't remember. I literally, like, my brain just totally rejected.
Put it this way. I watched all of it, and I barely remember anything that happens in it.
Yeah.
Other than the stuff that ruined it for me.
I was gonna say the most I remember about it is him bitching.
Yeah.
They had the second season on demand, but
God, why did they make a second season? Oh my God.
I'm telling you, it's the Stonecutters. You know, we make Infinite Stratos popular.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Since that was a
We're ready on
bad
the second,
parody of the... What?
We're ready on the second segment.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Alright, in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to NTR Radio. So, the three of us got this book, the Moe Manifesto.
Actually, I want
Galbraith.
to mention one thing I wanted to mention that I should have mentioned in the last segment.
Do it.
Before we start. The other night, I had this great dream that I wish was so true, that I was watching an OAV that they made for Kanamemo.
Keep dreaming.
Yeah, they almost were good, and I just remember laughing hysterically at it. They almost made one, but they didn't because it just was not popular.
Yep.
The show's still not on
popular.
Blu-ray.
Infinite Stratos.
The show's still not, like, on Blu-ray in Japan, and it's not even that old. It was from 2009, and so it you know, because there were shows from that time that were already on Blu-ray. I mean, you could get K-On! On Blu-ray, but I will never understand why that show wasn't popular. Why that show did so bad as it did. You
Can
know?
we actually get on to the actual point of this?
But
Yeah.
in any case,
Yeah.
so
Sorry.
we got the Moe Manifesto, and I really enjoyed it.
As did I.
I did. It was a little short and basically stuff that I already know, kind of. But at the same time, it's still like a fun read.
But let's get that out. This isn't really aimed for those who are already well in the know.
Well,
Not really.
I'm really, I actually kind of disagree. Here's my thing about this particular book. So much of what is written about Moe and that entire culture and that entire phenomenon is written by people who are from the outside looking in.
Okay, yeah, I can understand what you're saying.
And the reason I like the Moe Manifesto so much, and the reason I enjoyed Otaku Spaces so much is rather than have this methodology that says, okay, we're gonna observe these other people and kind of write about how they conduct themselves and sort of analyze the way they act and the way they engage with the stuff they like. He said his methodology is let's go talk to the people.
Yeah.
So you're. I think I see what you're getting at. You're saying it's more in the field rather than like a panopticon observation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
like quarantined unit where they're sitting there with like with like notepads and clipboards and shit.
right.
Yeah, we
It's
call that
more like it's more in depth, and you really get into how these people, where these people's heads are at, rather than people guessing where these people's heads are at.
Yeah, we call that the Susan Napier effect, where
She's such a hack.
where she basically like what she thinks something's about, rather than what it actually is about.
So the basic way we're going to cover this is we're going to pretty much just go down the list. It's the book has an intro, and basically the rest of it is interviews.
Yeah.
But it does kind of follow. It does follow kind of a logical progression, despite.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Yeah, it's not completely just a mess or anything. The intro is just that, him talking about his own involvement and all that kind of stuff.
It's a really nice intro.
It's kind of a primer for the rest of the book. It kind of
exactly like it gives you a very, very extensive and well presented history of all this stuff.
But
right.
I thought Moe was distinct from like the two, like it just popped up like Lucky Star started Moe, right? Lucky Star.
Very few people actually believe that.
You'll be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Okay, very few people that aren't morons.
There are a lot of morons out there.
Okay, so anyhow,
it gives a really good history of this stuff, and really gets down to the root of where this developed from.
Right. So should we go by how they're written with their surname first?
Sure.
Okay. Go ahead. It's first up is.
So it's and I sincerely hope I don't mispronounce all this
by
stuff.
By the way, I love this photo of the guys in the street.
Oh yeah, the Revolutionary Moe Advocates Alliance.
See, this is what I want to see.
That is Moe fundamentalism.
This is what I want to see in New York, people. All right, this is what I want to see.
Cruising around in a black van with a circling megaphone at the top.
I don't want to see Occupy Wall Street. I don't want to see that. I want to see this. This is what I want to see.
Guys walking around with Dakimakura yelling in.
Yes.
Yelling in Lay Alexander.
Yeah. We're here.
All he knew was that.
But yes, so the first interview is with Ito Kimio.
From social movements to shoujo manga.
Yep.
And that's a really good title. Because that's exactly kind of what you get out of that.
Exactly.
He talks about, if I recall, and if I screw up or go off base, please interject. He was basically talking about how after post-World War II Japan, there was that hyper-masculinity going on.
Yeah.
And that he kind of found his own escapism in, oddly enough, shoujo manga.
Yep, him and plenty of other young men.
That is a theme that comes back throughout the book, by the way.
Yeah, well, if you ever want to, watch, not even like those violent OVAs and such, like go back even further and watch some of the martial arts movies from like the 70s that were made in Japan, like the which I really like the not related to Street Fighter the game, but there was a series of movies called The Street Fighter that were like really over the top violent. You might have heard of Sonny Chiba.
Nope. Not a movie guy.
But that's an example of like the hyper-masculism that he's probably told.
Well, that and just the other type of manga even.
Oh yeah, the manga. Oh yeah.
He's talking about kind of escaping from robots and all that kind of stuff into.
Well, it's like protagonists that solve every problem with violence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Yeah, I believe that's actually pretty much paraphrasing it.
Yeah, it's pretty much what he was escaping from, and he and other young men were escaping from, is that this idea that being male is being violent and solving problems using strength,
or gizmos and
or rather than solving problems using like empathy and that kind of stuff.
Right, and this is pretty cool because it actually goes into some of the older shoujo stuff that came out.
Oh yeah.
I don't think this is where they this wasn't where they were talking about Creamy Mommy. That was a little further.
No, that's further on.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay. But it does. It makes mention of this kind of as almost kind of a departure point.
Oh yeah.
And if you follow what they're saying, it makes sense how the shoujo, which if you look at a lot of those even old shoujo manga, they already have the characteristics we associate with stuff now, with the kind of enlarged eyes.
Yep, the stuff developed from shoujo manga. It's been around a lot longer than people think it has. It just hasn't had a name for that long.
So I mean, it's interesting, and it's a first-person account, so that's valuable.
Yeah.
They also talk about the protest of the '60s in Japan.
Oh yeah, they mentioned the on-school protests, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which obviously that's not part of our history, so it's more of a footnote or something like that.
Well, we had our protests, too,
Yeah, but those were different though. Let's be real.
I know.
But anyway, so the next interview is with Kotani Mari.
Memories of Youth.
A feminist perspective on otaku.
This was an interesting read.
Very.
As well. Because it's not what you think.
Yeah. You go in...
Just by a title like that, it's not what you think at all.
Precisely.
It actually kind of correlates basically what the gentleman before said.
Yeah, she's basically... It's the same thing, but from...
a feminist kind of perspective.
Yeah, exactly, from a different perspective.
The rejection of like gendered norms, actually.
Yeah, the rejection of conventional masculinity.
Right. And again, that was an interesting read too. I mean,
yeah, and they go into idols and whatnot. It's all the same. It basically just to a certain extent, it's basically what Ito Kimio was on, but from the other side, from kind of the outside looking in, and saying, hey, this is so. It's the rejection of these these forced upon gendered norms that were really hyper developed after World War II.
Yeah, basically these, societal kind of, not restrictions, but because they were more, it was more from pressure than actual force.
Yes.
Or anything like that. Was this also where they were talking about the, yeah, when you mentioned idols, isn't this where they were talking about how the idol thing is really fake?
I believe so.
I believe she was the one who brought that up, that the whole idol scene is just that. It is very similar to the Moe thing in general, because it's a fake world, as it were.
Right.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, it's
well, all of us know that. The people who like it
Yeah.
know that.
It's a simulacrum of Moe, as close as you can get in the 3D world.
There you go. So yeah, that was, again, like I said, there's a rhyme and reason to how these things are structured. It seems like.
Yeah.
It didn't come in a vacuum. It all.
Yes, exactly. This thing didn't just come out of nowhere.
Right. To move on, I'll give my shot at this. Please, if I fuck it up, I'm sorry.
Got the drop in ready.
Oh yeah, no pressure.
I have faith in you.
Atsuka Eiji. That's how I pronounce it.
Yeah, that's about as close as I would get.
From shoujo manga to bishoujo magazines, and again, like this is following like a linear almost timeline.
Yep.
It talks about the beginnings of bishoujo magazines and games and all that.
Yeah, so it's something that kind of grew out of these individuals who rejected the traditional manhood, rejected shonen manga that was chiefly use of force to solve problems, and immersed themselves into shoujo, and now sort of started making their own thing out of it.
Hence where we get this from.
Precisely.
Yeah, it makes sense in the way they laid it out too. Like you can plot it on a map almost.
Oh yeah, you can plot, like you can draw the connections between each interview here.
Exactly. And was this the one? Again, I'm sorry. Like I probably should have taken notes, but it's not that big of a book.
Yeah.
But I did read it in big chunks. So.
Same here.
I read it in like a day and a half, basically.
Which yeah, and interjection. If an interjection, it's big print. It's got lots of pictures.
Yeah.
It's not a difficult read.
Not at all. Not even close. This is not our post-human future. A really unpleasant book I had to read in the past.
War and Peace Moe edition. Fucking read that.
Yeah, except I don't think this is not even 200 pages, so no.
I'd read that.
All right. Yeah, it basically is just a stepping stone from the other two.
Yeah.
That's mostly what I remember about it. Again, like I said, I should have taken notes.
Don't worry about it.
But I did not. So you guys, like I said, I'm forgetting who said what.
Right.
Well, let's go on to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sato Toshihiko, and it basically talks about on magical girls and male fans.
Part 1.
Yeah. So basically, like how male
now
fans.
This is where Creamy Mommy pops up.
No, this is where Mickey Momo pops up.
Oh, that's right. Was that part 2?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
It happened in this area.
Yeah.
Talking about magical girls.
You're one part ahead of us.
Damn it.
But yeah, basically about the same thing that it also talks about anime serves as a kind of advertisement for toys, and
who's been saying that?
and instead of robot toy, stuff, it's stuff for girls. What would they buy? What would they want?
Words. Also, and again, not trying to go off topic or anything, but one cannot say enough about Neon Genesis Evangelion here.
Yeah.
It is mentioned a lot in this book, and by a lot of people, and pretty much by all these people, actually.
It's pivotal.
It is a watershed moment, unquestionably.
Really pivotal to the medium as a whole.
Also, I was gonna say shit. Oh yeah, it talks about like the basically like the whole transformation into adult character, but
right.
They were saying with the problems that would be associated with growing up.
Right,
and they also kind of played with the gender thing there too. How with the more shonen and the mecha and stuff, how that manifests itself differently in those kind of works. The transformation is controlling a bigger, more powerful like robot, or actually becoming said robot. And that's a big divide there, because it's almost uniformly, when we're talking about like magical girls, a younger girl transforming into an adult.
Right.
Yeah. Which, by the way, there's an episode of Cream Lemon that's basically both a parody and a sort of like what would be the dark side of that, which was basically like this girl becoming an adult that idol that this other guy was infatuated with, and then he basically was raping her. It goes on.
Just in case you were getting entertained or happy by this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to rewatch those. I swear. I've done them all. I don't know if the book mentions this, but I noticed, like, again, this was also the birthplace, like, this era of, like, the 80s really started also the birthplace of, because the only girl things that would have existed at that time would have been probably dolls, and also garage kits. That's where the garage kit thing would have, because you can't. It's like, I want so and so. I want a figure of Mayoi. Okay, buy a figure of Mayoi. You couldn't do that back then.
But one of the interesting things that's brought up is that, again, none of this was actually intended to pick up a male audience of any kind.
No,
it just kind of did, and not just like males of that age group, but adults like us.
Well, that happened with Sailor Moon. Actually, that also happened with. I would also say that, at least maybe for me, but really like in the late '90s, early 2000s, I was a big fan of Powerpuff Girls, and that's a show intended for, although it's weird, it's like intended for girls, but there's a lot of like references to things that you'd only get if you're like a nerd, basically. There's a lot of like anime references in that shit.
Yeah.
Very, very like obscure, like things most people wouldn't get.
Right.
Right. You could argue that there were things like Animaniacs that had that too.
Oh yeah.
Or Freakazoid, they had jokes like that.
Absolutely.
So right, and that segues into the second part of it.
The second part.
By okay, oh boy, get that horn ready. Or Nunokawa Yuji.
Yep, you got it.
On Magical Girls and Male Fans Part 2. Okay,
this is
now
we talk about
Creamy Mommy. Okay, I've been saying it like right from the beginning, and I'm having complete brain malfunction.
Up with K-Gods.
Yeah. By the way, if you ever want to watch a really great opening to a show, see the one below Creamy Mommy, the one Magical Emmy.
Right.
On the page.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great opening. Just I really like that opening. But yeah.
This mentions a little bit about that, about Sailor Moon, and Cardcaptor Sakura, I believe, as well. There were some pictures, and that might have been a little later, but I know they had pictures.
Yeah.
This one sort of dovetails off the last one, talking about how it was intended for little girls, and it sort of came into this alternate fan base of adult men.
See that, people? 3 decades before My Little Pony. 3 decades. Only now are people like covering about bronies and shit. It's like, dude,
Look,
that
no,
happened.
look, BZ's got a point, because I remember PBS Idea Channel a while back did a thing, and like the thing was, are bronies like redefining masculinity? And it's not that that's happening today, even though that might be the case like here, but it's been happening for decades in Japan. And we'll see later in the book that it's sort of coming to a head.
But yeah, they talk about continually how this consistently happened with these new IPs.
Yep.
That they would go to these conventions or like these meetings and like these signing events and things like that, and it'd just be nothing but men. Pretty much.
That they're interested.
Which is interesting to me. Like, could you imagine like the kind of puzzled look on the face of the creators and stuff there? Like, that's odd. I'm sure they don't mind the money.
Oh, of course not.
It has to be like one of those Bizarro Land moments, like where you expect to look out and see like tons of like little girls and their like moms and stuff.
Yeah.
And you see like, people like us out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like possibly with alcohol or whatever. Like, what in the fuck just happened there?
Yeah, after talking about Miki Momo and Creamy Mommy and all that, they start to get into kind of the people who sort of work on and create this stuff.
Yeah. The next one is just Pop. Yeah, which is the creator of
Moe-tan.
Yeah.
Moe-tan, yep. And there's some nice little illustrations of that too.
Oh yeah.
Which, by the way, Moe-tan's a great, hilarious show. If you've never seen it,
isn't that the one where it says I'm 18 bullshit?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought that was it. This one's called Talking About Moe at the Heart of Akihabara.
Yeah. It was basically like interesting that he said that even though the character's called Moe-tan, he doesn't like using the word Moe.
Yeah, because it's been kind of used in such a way that it's kind of lost original meaning.
Well, I wouldn't even say that. It's just such a contentious word. Like, you say Moe, and all of a sudden, the shit hits the fan for no reason.
Shit hits the fan.
Or the fans, as some people would say. But yeah, Pop. Gotta love that. Which was funny because the longer name was it was supposed to be a joke on the word potpourri, if I remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which that made me smirk a little bit. But they also explained how like it all goes back, unsurprisingly, to Tezuka.
Yeah.
And how like the rounded features and stuff.
Oh yeah, like you definitely see that in the character design.
And if you put them side by side, you can. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, all the rounded character design of Tezuka to the stuff Pop does, or just a lot of the Moe character design.
A lot of Moe characters just in general.
Yeah, and if you make that like stopgap with shoujo, you see the enlarged eyes that have a lot more, I guess, depth.
A lot more expression and emotion.
Yeah, there's that old proverb: "The eyes are the window to the soul." I actually don't know if that's a Japanese proverb. I know it's some kind of proverb. I can't remember specifically where it comes from. But.
I know that Dark Horse here released some of the Pop books that were like his versions of fairy tales.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Pop was actually talking about that. Didn't they also talk about how they started learning how to draw and all that?
Yeah.
Like, how they would actually go down to, Akihabara and,
Yeah, went down to, like, the arcades in Akihabara.
Right, exactly. And didn't talk about having, like, a little brother that played, too? Like, that played games and stuff? Or was that a little further?
Again, that might have been a little further.
Yeah, I'm sorry, again. This is why you take notes, kids.
But yeah, up next is Momoe Halko, who's a singer, voice actress, producer for a lot of
Things.
She's basically the one. She's basically part of the well, she's the voice of me from Pueblo Town, but she's also She was part of the former group Under 17.
Mm.
Yes, I remember that. The voice of Moe asks for understanding, and that could not be more, just more blunt.
Yeah.
Just that. She talks about being involved with the Under 17 thing and actually disbanding it, right?
Yeah.
And then actually feeling like and bringing it back just out of like popular demand.
Right.
And all that good stuff.
Which I love the fact that in that documentary that I mentioned, the one previously, the one Are All Men Pedophiles?
Still not watching that based on the title.
They showed both the clip from Moetan and was it like a performance of Under 17?
I'd like to know exactly where they got that name. What did they just hear, like that shitty Winger song? You know, she's only 17.
I'm gonna go with how there's like U15.
Yeah, U15.
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
I would bet money on that.
Probably.
U5.
Right. Okay. But right, and not only that, we should mention that numerous places in this book it actually references other parts of the book.
Yeah.
Which it's not really how do I word that? It's not really like in a pretentious way or anything so much as kind of to reinforce a point that was already said.
Yeah, it shows where these connections are.
Yeah. But I also like they show in this they show the character designs with what was it? What's his name? Akio Watanabe.
Akio Watanabe.
Yeah, because he was the character designer for Pueblo Town.
So next up is Toromi, stage name.
Yes. Notes from Underground.
Oh, I like it shows both in the book K-On! And Tokimeki Memorial, which is
which is mentioned a couple times in the book anyway.
Yeah.
This is the voice of Mi-chan. The other thing was Under 17. This is
the other voice. No, the last one was the voice for Nurse Witch Komugi.
Yeah. This is the voice of Mi-chan.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, this one's is a little bit more the same. Another musician, voice actress.
Multimedia, if you will.
Pretty much. I mean, I like that they go to like the people who are really behind this stuff, like the people who make these voices, because they gotta sort of make the character appealing through the voice and whatnot.
Right, and there's also discussion about how, and this is going to sound really corny and cheesy and all that, but they say that they become the character when they're drawing it or they're doing the voice of, or even doing musical like openings and things like that. That's interesting, and if one of us said it would probably sound incredibly ridiculous, but I know what they meant when they said it.
Right. Next up is Shimada Humikane, the designer behind Sky Girl, Strike Witches, Buzoshinki.
Yep.
Right, and this is Bridging the Gap Between Mecha and Moe, which I'm sure once VZ saw that title, he enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But it's cool because it mentions all the way back to like Macross.
Oh yeah.
Lin May and all that.
This stuff has been around for a lot longer than people think it has.
The Mecha Musume thing, the whole like combining, military hardware, as it were.
Yeah, exactly. The
With cute girls.
The juxtaposition between cute girls and firepower, basically.
Right, and I mean, somebody actually on my Twitter actually asked something about that. If you want me to kind of roll it back up here.
Do it.
Okay. Okay, it helped if I was looking at the replies. You know. Okay. What the fuck?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, having a little bit of a problem here. Quick, filler.
Lily butt.
I feel like and this is something that kind of, it's this and a part in that's later in the book that sort of kind of resonated with me, because I do the whole Moe military thing, and it's just sort of like validation of stuff that I like, because like this stuff has been around since far before any of the whole Moe was a thing.
By the way, I wish I had this one, this Bunso Shinki, the one with
Which
the
one?
one
The one that looks kind of like a strike witch.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point too. They actually mention that basically there wasn't even trying to be a juxtaposition or any kind of like even balancing out or anything. It was just cramming things together they liked.
Yeah, exactly.
It just some of these things just happen naturally.
Sometimes when you take two things you like and put them together, it does work.
I mean, you know, how else are we gonna get peanut butter jelly and
Yeah, exactly.
Peanut butter and chocolate.
not necessarily for me specifically, but as a concept.
Yeah.
But I like all this stuff too. So
Peanut butter lolly time. Peanut butter moe time. Peanut butter moe time. Yeah. The next one is Maida Jun.
Nope, that's the wrong pronunciation.
How do you?
Because I know, because a dude I know is like obsessed with the key stuff. It's Maeda June.
Right.
yes. Okay, the crying game.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is
This gentleman is the writer for Key.
Yeah.
This is interesting because it talks about moving specifically to characterization.
Kind of moving to characterization and characters within a story.
Right, and again, this is where probably the shoujo thing shines maybe the most, I think, in terms of like some of the exaggerated features and all that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They talk about, you know, fans being moved to tears and all that.
Hey, it's weird how your back of the book, mine is pink, but yours is purple, but it might be just the setting of
That's
your...
probably just the camera, because mine is
Oh,
very
it is red. Yeah, it's red. It's just sometimes when you move it, it's like purple. Like now it's purple, but it's really red. Yeah.
And they do. They mention a lot about that, the key stuff, how the whole idea with visual novels and all that, since it's not actual animation, that it's more detailed.
Yeah.
That they specifically talk about how they need pictures and poses and stuff that have like a striking kind of quality.
Yeah, and you can even
I thought it was just them being lazy.
illustrations in the book here.
I thought it was just them being lazy.
No, in fact, Straw Man, that's the exact opposite.
Yeah, quite frankly, the way they explain it, it's they actually really do put a lot of thought into this, as it would seem. Like they actually talk about the different kind of angles, you know, because they like to accentuate certain things. Like, okay, this is going to sound kind of perverse, but like thighs and stuff like that.
That's the male gaze.
But yeah,
Ouch.
it's sort of the development of these specific sort of visual novels that are based around emotional situations and really feeling for these characters. And this is where I feel Moe starts to kind of come into, they kind of get fleshed out when you start genuinely feeling something for these characters and generally empathizing when stuff happens to them in the story and whatnot.
Oh, by the way, I love this this one thing. So what does the word Moe mean to you? It's a reason to live. If it were to be taken away, many people would no longer be able to survive.
Yeah, and, he's kind of right.
Yeah, because the one guy, I'm not sure who it was specifically, talked about at a certain time in the evening they watched Noir. And that was a big thing for them.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily something I would immediately think of when I think of Moe, but
yeah, it kind of shows like that Moe is, it's not just pinned down to any specific sort of genre or design philosophy, or it's really just this feeling you get when you see a character you like.
Well, that's why I tried to explain in this with the thing that I did with Josh. Is that Moe is one thing that I would find Moe wouldn't necessarily be something that you would find Moe.
Exactly.
right. And a little later, not to jump too far ahead, but they actually talk about how it has kind of different meanings in different contexts. Which that's part of the reason why people have an issue with the word anyway, because one person's talking about one definition, one person's talking about another. And naturally that ends up with some kind of oddball conversations.
Yeah.
That, yeah, clearly when you're not speaking
we'll get to that at the end.
When you're not speaking the same language.
We'll get to that at the end.
Yeah.
I think we got some shit to. All right. The next one is Ito Noise.
Yeah, they actually
Close enough.
girl drawing girl, and no, we're not talking about you drawing girl. Shout out. But no.
She's the characters. She's for Shakuna no Shana Haruhi.
Yes.
This thing only I saw called oh shit, what's it called? I got it on the side here.
Well, while you're figuring that out, I'll point out the little anecdotal thing about, I believe it's a stage name to an extent, or a pen name, because they mentioned it's kind of a play on the word noisy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Nana Surio Drops, which was actually an adult game that they when they made the show, they like dropped the adult part.
Like they did with every adult game except like Yosugu no Sora.
Yeah.
You still got that. You still got that cut.
Yeah. I should watch that again because I only saw some of it, and remember the main girl having a really cute voice and looking, and also it was actually a magical girl show.
Right. So yeah, and they talk about designing Haruhi a little bit and some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, I remember. Again, I remember that, like I said, that anecdote about using that name because of kind of, I guess, a weird sense of humor.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot of talking about the the commonly accepted traits of Moe, like cat ears and maids and whatnot.
Oh, she tried to get a job at Catcom.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We don't want you. Now they're like kicking themselves. Damn it!
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, wouldn't you love a fighting game with Haruhi and
Yes.
Yeah, I'd be bad at it, but I'd still play it.
I would try to play it.
Yeah. There's a game called there's a game that's like basically that just came out. It's a fighting game for Aqua Plus.
Oh yeah, Aquapazza.
Yeah.
I saw that in GameStop a while ago.
Yeah.
I was gonna get it, but it's for PS3, and I don't even play my PS3.
Right. Okay. Well, moving on.
No.
Not to.
Nah.
We got to get moving.
Yeah, no. But
There's a lot of stuff here.
yeah, Next interview is with Honda Toru.
The love revolution is here.
Yep.
Oh, I've heard of this guy.
He's talking about the whole 2D romance thing, the whole fake girlfriend thing.
Right, and what's interesting about this is all these conversations, and this again goes through the whole book, it comes across as fair.
Yes, very, very fair.
It does not come across as they're trying to sell you some bullshit like sob story or any of that, or the flip side, they're not telling you not to do this or that.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm glad that in this book they didn't interview Nissan. You know what I'm talking about. That would have just put it.
He's not really that big a figure other than
being a meme.
Other than being a meme.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's written books.
Right. So the love revolution is here. I believe that it was, if I'm not mistaken, this is kind of where it starts to talk about some of the actual problems that pop up.
Yeah. This is where it starts to talk about like
the population schism and the population schism and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it starts to get into the population problems here.
Oh, there's Love Plus, by the way.
Yep.
So yeah, and of course that's more serious, real world shit there. So
yeah. So
there's Tezuka stuff again. There's Tezuka stuff again.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that perspective was more of like there's a problem there, but I understand why.
Exactly.
And this is where it starts to talk about how young Japanese men, when they come out of like high school or college, more specifically, they're basically thrown right into the job market, and if they can't swing it or they can't, they don't get a good job or their money's they don't get that salary man,
They don't start getting that money.
Or that, even that status as a salaryman, which when we think of that, we think that's just like an average, run-of-the-mill worker,
Yeah, that's basically equivalent to like the white collar here.
Yeah, and it gets more into that with the next interview. Morinaga Takuro.
For love or money.
Yep.
And yes, it starts to get into that quite a bit more because it talks about where if they're not reaching these goals that society's kind of asking of them, they kind of just drop out. They just tune out.
They're sort of like the lost generation at that point.
Wow!
They figure that I can't. Obviously, I'm not Japanese. And I don't live there, so I only can go from what I'm reading and what I've heard from others. That it almost seems like it's instead of like committing seppuku or something like that, they kind of become more reclusive and
they kind of back off into the fringes of society
and realize that it's not going to work out for me in this with this setup.
Yeah.
And there was no way, because the kind of girls I like don't like me, and the ones that would like me, I don't make enough money.
Right, exactly.
Et cetera, et cetera. There's definitely a problem there, and I don't mean from what I'm saying. I'm saying, as an outsider looking in, there is definitely a problem with like the dating.
It's a for real issue.
Which is kind of like here too.
Not like there.
No, to a certain extent, but not
on that level.
As
I think it's getting there though.
At that level.
Well, part of the reason that it's that way there is two things. One, I mean, you can't ignore that Japan is a homogenous society.
No, yeah.
I mean, compared to the United States, certainly. And two, the other big thing. Excuse me. One of the other big things, but besides having a homogenous society, is they went through industrialization at a like unheard of precedent.
Oh yeah. You go from like basically medieval level to
like now.
Yeah,
exactly.
In 100, in
a generation, a lot of these people are still alive.
Yeah.
There are people that didn't have color TV that are still in government now. And that's a big deal. We've never seen, at least I can't think of, any country that mobilized and modernized their entire infrastructure at that level and that speed, to where you have that disconnect almost.
Exactly.
I mean, the people that are on the top, and when I say the top, I don't even necessarily mean financially. I mean like of the age, like if you were looking at an age, graph of some kind. The people that are up in the upper, ages versus the ones that are in the low ages, there's a major disconnect there.
Absolutely. And the social norms haven't caught up with the reality of the world that they're living in now.
So that's another reason that we're not like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and this book only really kind of enforces that, really.
Pretty much. It sort of brings that entire issue into the light. Because that's something that hasn't seen a lot of discussion, like in the greater Moe discussion.
Certainly not. I mean,
a lot of times it's more about the media and the subculture, but it doesn't really include the surroundings, the trappings, all of this stuff happening around it that cause it to develop in the way it does.
I mean, you got to realize that World War II ended 70 years ago. Some of those people are still alive.
Exactly.
Those people are actually in government.
Well, yeah, clearly. Yeah. But I mean, even going back further, 1914, 100 years before now. I mean, that's World War I starting.
Yep.
So 100 years is generally, I mean, it seems like a long time, but in the grand scale of things, it's really not. Especially if you've been a country as long as a place like Japan or China or India or anything like that. That's not really a very long time in terms of, progression and all that stuff. Okay.
Moving on.
Yeah, we got a little. We here at NTR Radio love to go on our tangents.
Yeah. Let's talk about real problems. We're the realest anime podcast in the internet. Higashi. Someone else read it.
Okay, I'll give it I'll give it a shot. Okay, Higashimaru. I fucked that up. I totally fucked that up.
Higashimura.
Mission failed.
Higashimura Hikaru.
Okay.
Thank you.
BZ's got it.
Somebody picked up the slack. Good. The wonderfully named the Moe Studies Research Circle. Which the only thing I can imagine when I hear that is a bunch of like middle-aged guys sitting around in like tuxes and Hello Kitty keychains, like passing around a bongo.
What I think of is like a bunch of like late 20s, early 30s men in suits in like one of those meeting boardrooms you get in like at the hotel or something, with the long table, and they're all facing a PowerPoint presentation with like the Lucky Star girls on it, and like it's got arrows pointing to all various
like a Madden, Madden
yeah,
screen.
exactly. Like,
see,
so what you got to do here is
you got Konada's Ahoge here, and over here, see. Yeah.
So and Miyuki's glasses here. Was it?
And Kagami's eyes are upturned like this, while Tsukasa's eyes are downturned like this.
She is not amused. But and then between when people are hitting these bullet points, they're like just like downing shots of sake, like.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it is Japan. All right. Now let's get back to actually what's in the book instead of our bad mental images of what's going on.
Yeah, so this one sort of goes a little bit back, talks about the engagement with shoujo material, the early development of proto moe, the older fans engaging with shows like Sailor Moon and whatnot.
There's Min-Mei from Macross over there.
Of course.
And it kind of goes into sort of a lengthy discussion about what moe is in relation to whether it's a reaction to a person or a reaction to a representation.
That was actually pretty interesting because they had those questionnaires and all that.
Yeah, and it's like, and they kind of went to talking about, like Mecha Musume and girls representing trains and that one manga Afghanistan.
I'm not gonna lie, I cracked up when I was reading that part. I just could not stop giggling about that.
Yeah,
it was a total 9-year-old moment.
It's hilarious.
It was a total 9-year-old moment. Afghanistan, or it really Afghanistan? Yeah, really.
Let me tell you. Okay, so in Afghanistan, Osama bin Laden and Al Qaeda and the Taliban are represented as a group of cats that take up residence in Afghanistan's house, and 9/11 is represented by one of the cats going up and biting America's leg, and now America comes over and she's pissed. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Wow.
Read it if you get the chance.
Jeez. That almost sounds like something 4chan would have come up with.
I gotta look for that now.
It's fantastic.
Okay. But, alright. And then the next one is by, okay. I love the name. Soda Mitsuru.
So you get all the easy names.
Screw you, I tried to say the one earlier and fucked up. Making an ass out of myself on the internet.
There's a comic market.
It's about the Philomoe Association.
Which, now this reminds me more, if we were to have a visual here, is a bunch of guys like in doctor attire, sitting there with like their clipboards and like watching experiments, like a control group with people watching like K-On! And stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, okay. The reaction appears when Mio does this, but not this. Like a little, and with the experimental group, that's not really what's going on.
Yui did something cute. Medic. Code blue. Code blue. Code blue.
Yeah, we're gonna need a defibrillator in here, just in case.
That like Azusa doing the yeah. Because they're all like hooked up to heart monitors and that, and it just like flatlines.
But we should mention a lot of these people that we're talking about, at least not the ones that are involved in the more like the creating aspect of it, all have like degrees in their national studies.
Yeah, these are straight up people, like straight up who actually study this stuff.
I thought they were just creepy losers, to live in their parents' basement, even though Japan's have
all those PhDs, on their
parents. That framed diploma.
Even though Japanese homes don't have basements.
But, yeah, see, they're talking about America.
Yeah, America, dude. I'm living in I'm the basement. I'm
on the second floor.
You are the basement. Instead of like Setsuna saying he's Gundam, you are the basement. Am I the only one who got that?
I know I got that. Well, this is another that goes real in depth into sort of what moe represents to people and what really is and isn't moe. And
right.
As far and like when I say what isn't moe, I'm not talking about this is Redline isn't moe. What I'm more talking about is what elements are like what can be considered moe and what elements contribute to moe. Like you wouldn't just say a pair of glasses is moe, but it's the combination of the glasses and the rest of the character elements and the personality and the presentation and all that, like
kind of the sum of the parts.
Precisely.
And to continue on that, another thing I noticed, and this is pretty much across the entire book, one definition that is pretty much universally agreed upon is that the attraction to fictional characters.
Exactly.
Um,
And specifically fictional characters.
yeah, exactly.
Well,
Where,
they show some things with the maids, but again,
But
right, but
that's
there's
one that kind of goes back to Homeboy.
what is Moe? It's representation.
Yeah, we're talking about a representation rather than just rather than a thing. Like the maid is a representation
of that idea.
Yeah, like the idea of that kind of anime character personality in the real world.
Mm.
And that's also probably why people love cosplay as much as they do.
Oh yeah.
I mean, people that like to look at it. I mean, the people who like to do it sometimes I think just end up liking the character or they like the design or whatever.
It even says maids, subject of research.
Yes.
that sounds like something you would do, Anubis.
Yes.
Like I can see you there in your Zero costume, like with your helmet still on, with the shot glass in your hand, and like, okay, all right, you got like one of those really bad legal pads, where it's like, the yellow paper, and
subject of research.
you're making like these little like Venn diagrams and shit. Okay.
Yeah, moving on.
Someone else pronounce this one.
The next interview is Morikawa Kaiichiro.
Learning from
That's how to
Akihabara.
pronounce things.
Oh, there's that famous figure of the little girl on the
The girl on top of the train tracks.
yeah.
This one was good. I really liked this one because it kind of talked about how Akihabara became what it is.
Right.
And how it was originally, and how a lot of people probably still think of it actually as an electronics kind of depot of sorts, like where people went to check out like all the latest gizmos and all that.
Yeah, and like household appliances and whatnot, and
check out this blender. We'll try to sell you something. Or
right. And it just kind of became the otaku hive, like the otaku hive world.
Hive mind. I'm getting tired of people saying that.
It's dumb.
Oh yeah, the otaku hive mind.
Mostly because people who say it don't even know where that comes from.
Yeah. The only argument for that I will say, agreement is the fact that Kantai Collection is like super popular right now.
Except I don't like Kantai Collection, so.
Oh, I know that.
It's not an otaku hive mind. If someone disagrees with the otaku hive mind.
I'm saying in Japan, like right now, for the otaku, if you go on any
but
fan
when they talk about the otaku hive mind, they're talking about us.
Yeah, they're mostly talking about.
No, they talked about that. I heard specifically for Japan because mentioning about who talking about Flowers of Evil and how it didn't sell over there, and it's like, oh, the otaku hive mind.
Because it's bad.
He also used that term to describe us, to describe people like us. So it's a toss-up. He talks about how Moe sort of injected itself into Akihabara as it came to be more and more of just an otaku hub.
It really is. That's a good way to put it. Or an otaku.
Has anyone ever seen? I actually have it. The DVD that Media Blast has put out. It was from 2004, so it's a little dated, but it's still kind of relevant. It was basically about.
Blasters puts out DVDs.
DVDs?
No. It was originally from 2004, and I think they released it in like 2007 or something. It was about this thing that NHK broadcast about called Akihabara Geeks, I think it was called.
Nope, haven't seen it.
Nope.
Oh, but it was pretty good. It was basically showing pretty much what this chapter talked about.
Yeah, it basically kind of explains that it's become kind of an anime fans metropolis of sorts.
Pretty much.
Oh, I like actually one of the ones they showed was the guy that did Higurashi.
Okay.
I
know who you're talking about.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that was one of the things. They also had this kid that was buying like electronic parts from Akihabara. Like you could just buy like whatever and whatever
Yeah.
particular part you need.
Electronics.
Like I said, most people think
hub.
of it as an electronics kind of like depot of sorts.
Yeah.
Not like Home Depot.
Yeah,
A little bit different than that.
The next interview is Ito Go,
The Pleasure of Lines. How sexy.
and this one sort of goes back and kind of talks about how the generally accepted quote unquote moe aesthetic developed from old stuff from
Tezuka?
Tezuka,
The shoujo stuff.
Rumiko
Takehasha.
Yes, the person who did Urutsu Yatsura and Ranma 1/2 and Inuyasha.
Also,
Lum. Who can forget Lum?
yeah. Also, the magical girl stuff.
And it also actually, like most of this book, also kind of makes a stop gap at Evangelion, of course.
Yeah.
Mm.
And how that was such a big deal, and how like Rei Ayanami became like almost like some weird sex symbol of sorts.
Even though that wasn't the intention.
Well, no. And even thinking about that on a deeper level, that's kind of disturbing. Not because you like a fictional character, but because of who she ends up really being.
Exactly.
Well, the thing was he made Rei as a counter reaction to the Kogel sub scene in Japan.
Right.
Which is Kogel is kind of like Japan's equivalent of like the Valley Girl.
Yeah, I am aware.
Yeah.
And she also kind of functions as the antithesis to Asuka's personality.
Yeah.
Oh, that too. I've heard like the whole like the three main Ava pilots are basically the id, the super id, and the ego.
The ego.
No, the id.
Ego and super ego.
Yeah, that's
yeah. I knew what you meant. The Freudian thing, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's cool. And they even talk about how the pleasure of lines, and I kind of understood what they mean. I mean, it sounds kind of funny, but who actually ended up saying it? There was one of the older gentlemen, I believe, that was talking about it.
What, the pleasure of lines?
Yeah.
That was this gentleman here.
Right. I know, but didn't they mention something about in the studio, some other guy saying that? Shit, I can't remember. Fuck. Again, get notes.
The Idolmaster. Woo!
Yeah. Okay. We need to send basically a memo to Kentaro. Come on, man. We still want more Berserk.
Oh, see, it even says like Tezuka's the circular lines,
Yep.
like literally.
Right.
This stuff has been around for a lot longer
Than some people are giving it credit for.
I mean, yeah,
Right.
Oh, that said. That's actually something. But I think that might have been done by the same manga art, the one that did never mind.
Yeah, the next interview is with Azuma Hiroki.
Which Anubis has a special relationship with this.
Oh yeah, the Death of Narrative.
The most pretentious work of print media I've ever read. Otaku, Japan's database animals.
Yeah.
Applying pressure to the moe points. It was still a good read.
It was a good read, and his points are sort of reasonable.
But they do come off as a little smuggy.
Yeah.
Oh, I like how, what is it? He said that Lucky Star is basically like Moe 101.
Yeah, which I understand what they mean by that, because if somebody wants to know what Moe is, you could give them Lucky Star. I mean, and that, I'm not saying that would be the whole, spectrum of it, but you'd get an idea.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Here's my thing, kind of my thing with his argument. Like, to a certain extent, he's right. With certain characters like Deijiko, but for the most part, I don't think you can really just break down characters like that and make it work as well as it does in the original work.
Right, he does mention that, like you said, the death of the narrative. He even explains that, anime and manga and all that good stuff, it has moved distinctly from more plot-based things to character-based, things.
And that's a bad thing?
Which is,
Well, see,
it's not necessarily
that's what I've always liked about anime, though.
Yeah.
So that focus has never really bothered me. I understand why some people who like things like MD Geist or something like that, which I also like, by the way.
MD Geist is not a plot-based anime.
No, but it is violent.
Oh yeah.
And it is, and it at least pretends it has a narrative anyway. but
the death force.
But nobody watches MD Geist for characters. I know I didn't. Actually, the main reason I watched that was because people were bitching about it. And say what you will, I get curious. I don't know about you guys, but when somebody's bitching about something, saying it's really bad or it's like brain dead or this and that, I want to see it more than I normally would. Just because if somebody's saying that, I got to know what they're talking about.
It depends on what they're saying it about to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. But back in the day.
Back in my day.
Before you could pop up onto the internet and look at pictures or a bigger synopsis, you just had to rent shit.
Well, I didn't even know MD Geist was this hated until read
I did, because I read On America and all that kind of stuff.
There you go.
And it was one of those things like, oh, this is just pointless. This is just juvenile violence. I'm like, ooh, I want to watch it. It's like that's a sign of approval for me. But I was going through a phase at that point too. It's like like a lot of people, I was going through my anime, sci-fi, cyberpunk, and all that shit.
Yeah, that was my Edgemaster phase.
Well, no, it's not that I wanted it to be edgy. I just liked the hyper kineticism of it.
I was the owner of the Genesis, and I loved Mortal Kombat, and.
Oh yeah, I can safely say I was kind of hooked by that too, but.
Not that I didn't like Street Fighter, but.
Oh no, definitely not.
Mortal Kombat for some reason resonated with me more.
Their gimmick caught me. They got me hook, line, and sinker. It was gore.
Fatalities. Also, the digitized actors. I loved that. I thought that was the most.
But yeah, I haven't read the book you're talking about. I've heard of it, and from what you say, it sounds much like.
I've read Excerpt on Amazon, and holy shit, Anubis is so right.
Well, the only thing I can think of is the book I mentioned earlier, Our Post-Human Future by Francis Fukuyama, which was a thing I had to actually write a journal entry on for an assignment, and technobabble to the nth degree. It was a nightmare.
But here's one thing, because for all I shit on his book for being pretentious, and for all I kind of shit on his points for being for being kind of he is kind of on point with this, talking about how in Japan the markets are different from Japan and here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he actually does point that out.
Really on point with the how in Japan the otaku like stuff like Kyoani, Shaftworks. In America, they like stuff like
Production
Studio
IG.
Ghibli and Production IG, and it's these two completely different preferences for what people want to see out of this medium.
They could make more for us. The problem is we're shitty consumer base.
Yeah, the problem is we're
bad capitalists.
Yeah.
I guess
We're not the fine young capitalists.
well, we're not we're not as dedicated to this stuff as the otaku are.
Well, no, that is. There's no way we can compete with that.
Every time an Aniplex, like a press release for an Aniplex release, and it's like every thread.
You can hear people cussing in your head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And even people who won't be named here, by the way, and even people that I normally find obnoxious are finally starting to say, "Hey, this is fucking obnoxious. Stop that."
A broken clock is right twice a day. In any case, the next and final interview of the book, I believe.
Yes. Saito Tamaki.
Yes, a psychiatrist.
And this one is titled Otaku Sexuality, and in some ways might be the most interesting part of this book.
It says specializing in puberty and adolescence.
Yep.
Right, and this isn't like, you know, this person never comes across as like some quack or anything.
No, and that's another thing I like about this book. Everyone knows what they're talking about.
Oh yeah, even something you might not agree with, they don't sound like they're being disingenuous.
Exactly.
See, it says here. So
to me, that's important.
See, it says here, so you can feel moe for maid characters in manga and anime, but it has nothing to do with actual women who are paid to work as housekeepers. These men don't have maids, and if they did, the fantasy would be ruined. Yeah,
this also explores the you know, as some people would say, the neurosis of the emoto thing. And it's true. Like you guys are probably far more. You guys probably have far more of an endearment to that than I do.
Yeah, because I don't have, you know.
I don't have any sisters.
I mean, you know, I enjoyed Emo to an extent, you know, and stuff, but that's just it, because it is fictional, and I know that none of my relatives are actually like that.
Though to be fair, I still thought Kirino was a bitch.
I think we all thought. Well, actually,
Sora Kasugano, on the other hand.
No, not Kirino. Ayasa.
I said no. Ayase. We know Ayase's a bitch.
Like this is
also a bitch.
This is demonstrably true. I mean, like, you know, they have mathematical equations about Ayase being a bitch.
If you ever see a figure of Ayase for like really cheap, or someone wants to donate, like one of their
I'm not gonna spend money on that.
No,
I don't want to exchange legal currency to receive an Ayase. That's
okay. Listeners of
would you receive her Anubis?
That's like I'm gonna give you $1, and then you're gonna punch me in the face.
Okay, listeners of NTR Radio, if you have an Ayase figure that you want to get rid of, please send to Anubis.
So he can make another bad video.
So he can film it and shoot it up with his airsoft.
Once again, get more dislikes than likes.
Yeah. Well, would you receive Ayase Anubis?
No.
Would you open your arms and legs for?
No.
Sorry.
I'd open fire. I'd open fire is what I'd open.
There you go. Okay, but yeah.
He goes on to sort of talk about how and this is more talk about like the juxtaposition of moe girls and, you know, combat arms, really, to kind of sum it up like that, and how that's been around for, you know, ever.
Right, and you could argue that even before that there were the girls with guns. You know, and that was a big kind of fetish of sorts.
I don't know. What I'm saying is, like, girls in combat.
Yeah. Gunbuster.
And
they actually do mention Gunbuster in the
I see it right there.
They mention Mobile Suit Gundam, and speaking on Gundam, he talks about how sort of both Miyazaki and Tomino sort of have this resentment for some of the fans of their works because they like aspects of their works that like weren't the intention.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And they also have. He also mentions that some of these, directors, as we've always said, not that they're crazy. He doesn't say anything like that.
No.
He says that they're projecting a lot of their, almost like, not even self-loathing, but like, they're projecting a lot of their, a lot of things that they're putting out have natural projections from them on it.
Right.
And
kind of projecting their own sort of insecurities on them.
Right, but they're still not recognizing them.
Right.
And that's interesting to me. Like Miyazaki, he mentioned about how when he was younger, he went and saw this one animated work. It was the first one in color or something, right? And that, you know, it featured a young lady or a girl, and that made a big impression on him. And
Fell in love with this character.
Fell in love with this character, something he actually complains about with otaku.
Yep.
And that he did the same thing, and it basically he's projecting that out through all his young young characters, like from I don't know, the Castle of Cagliostro and Spirited Away, Kiki's Delivery Service, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I actually, I'll be completely honest, I never even thought of that.
I had heard
I've heard about
stuff,
that. Yeah.
Like I'd heard the whole falling in love with that character in the film thing, and I know about all the how his tendency towards young female characters, but I hadn't drawn the line between that.
And it really was kind of an eye opener.
Oh yeah.
Like so, and to conclude, this book, it would be really helpful, I think, for those kind of that are in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
More than anybody else, because there's a lot to explain about this shit.
Yes.
In general, and I mean, some pre-knowledge does help, and it's almost necessary to get some of it.
I think they have a glossary.
They do.
They do have a glossary. I will give Galbraith props on that, because the Otaku Encyclopedia also has one. I think that's. I don't know about Otaku Spaces. I know you have that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's been a while since
I used to have this book here. The Japanese schoolgirl.
Oh, Confidential?
Yeah.
Right. Wasn't that mentioned in there too?
Maybe.
Not sure.
There was something else like that mentioned in there. But
yeah, certainly.
If you like Moe, even if you don't like Moe, this is actually a good book.
If you're interested, and I mean for real interested.
Not like in that I need ammo to make fun of people.
Exactly.
You will get nothing out of this book if that's your MO.
For real interested in finding out what all this stuff is about and what what Moe actually is and what it actually means to people and how it actually developed, this book is the book.
Oh yeah, I mean,
definitively.
Unquestionably. I don't think I've seen many books on this subject to begin with.
There are some books that they're like Otaku Spaces kind of touches on it. I forgot. Database Animals kind of touches on it, but I haven't yet seen a book until this one that Moe is the subject.
Right, and that goes back to another thing. I mean, first off, it's not an expensive book. It's not going to bankrupt you.
No, it's like $10, $12 the most.
Exactly. It's not. You could get it from a library, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's well worth a read and time, because again, if depending on your style of reading, you could sit there in a single sitting and plop right through it.
Absolutely.
I mean, the only reason I didn't was because I wanted to kind of stretch it out a little bit.
Same here.
But I could have done it, and it really is. It's a good book. It's good to have as part of your. This is gonna sound so fucking pretentious, but kind of your, like, I don't know, anime manga literature.
Yeah.
As it were.
And avoid the Susan Napier shit.
I have not read that, but I'll take your word for it.
Like
you mentioned something about Akira and anus.
Yeah. Oh,
that's all I needed to know.
There's so much of that in that book.
Where it's trying to be like Jungian about everything.
It's the problem is she looks at only a select few works and bases all the genre of said based on
Some of which are actually.
She's a level 1.
So,
She's a level 1.
so
She
some of which.
likes some works that happen to be anime, but is not a fan of.
By
anime.
the way, one of the things was because I'm talking about erotic anime was Yurusaka Doji and Twin Dolls.
So much fun.
Yeah,
I am aware of those, so
Yeah.
I am deeply familiar with those.
yeah, but yeah, it's just very like it's like I said, it's a level 1.
Well, here's the thing.
Trying
Again, going off on a tangent of sorts, but I met the guy who created Irotsuki Doji.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just listen to last year when we did that episode.
Yeah,
I actually met the guy. There was no creepy, like, sinister undercurrent of why this stuff exists. It is actually.
I want to
Hang on a sec.
Right, sorry.
It's actually a lot more mundane than that, believe it or not. The whole tentacle thing wasn't like, just like extra super perversion or anything like that. The whole idea is basically can be summed up as, well, I tried to get around them mosaicing dicks.
Yeah, it's a censorship dodge.
It wasn't even meant to be like, some kind of creepy bestiality or weird thing like that. It was genuinely just trying to, like how a show like, I don't know, South Park or Family Guy tries to dodge loopholes on television.
Right.
It's pretty much that, except in the sense of this, it would be erotica.
Because Japan can't see the pink. I didn't come up with that, by the way. That's Daryl's reasoning for that stuff existing.
We're up on the break, though.
We're up against the break. Final verdict on the book. Mine is definitely buy.
Yes,
absolutely. And if you're not going to buy it, at least give it a rental or borrow from the library.
Borrow from a library, borrow from a friend. Read it in Borders or wherever. Well, Borders doesn't exist. Read it in wherever.
It's like $10. You should just buy it.
Yeah. It really is worth the money. It's a good little read.
If you're for real about wanting to see,
costs as much as a
wanting
manga.
to know this, if you're for real about wanting to know about this stuff, definitely get it. With that, that's the break. Keep it right here on NTR Radio.
Okay.
We're
running a little high there.
I'll be right back. I need water so bad.
You need some water. That joke is never going to get old, is it?
No. Fisticuffs.
Fucking fisticuffs. Do we have mail?
Yes, we do.
Okay, excellent.
We
I never
also
did
have
find that thing I was looking for.
That other second question from Joker Geek.
Okay, well, somebody sent me a.
390.
Oh yeah. That was mentioned on my timeline, but that's not actually what I was looking for. Somebody, I think it was Digital Bug who asked it, but I'm not finding it on my timeline now. And it's kind of pissing me off.
There it is. That's the wrong song. I would like the right one, please.
At least you're not out there in front of an audience dancing. I think you got that.
Yeah.
See, this is the music I listen to when I swim in the ocean. And with that, a mental image.
Okay, let's try to wrap up the last part in like 15 minutes, or
We can try. We have
I'm sure we have at least one question.
We have one email. Yes.
All right. I think we should also touch on the whole fallout of this book.
The fallout of the book?
There was a fallout?
Yeah, the A&N thread.
That's not a fallout.
That's not a fallout.
That's bitches on A&N.
Yeah.
When I say bitches, I don't necessarily mean any gendered insult there. I just mean whiny fucks. But we did learn that somebody apparently has absolutely no reading comprehension.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That was actually pretty funny.
That sounds like Donkey Kong music. Donkey Kong country music.
I was going to say it has to be Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
Far from it. Virtual-on Oratorio Tangram for the Dreamcast. Actually, technically, yeah, no, this is for the, this would be the arcade version. Because the Steinbach wasn't in the Dreamcast version.
Do they still make Virtual-on games?
No. Well, depends on what you mean by make Virtual-on games. I mean, a few years ago they ported Virtual-on Force to the 360, which is its first ever release on a console. So if you're counting ports, then they haven't made one for a couple years. If you're counting actual games, they haven't made one since 2003.
Would putting the original one on a DS, 3DS work?
I think they came out. I heard from a friend of mine that the new 3DS now has 2 sets of shoulder buttons. Let me actually look this up.
You heard from a friend of a friend?
Well, no, that's just one.
Oh yeah. Well, no. There's one that's coming out in Japan. I know. There's one that's coming out with the 4 buttons, like Super Nintendo.
Well, no, the DS always had 4 buttons in the.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about the top. I'm talking about the 1, 2, 3.
Shoulder?
No, not the shoulder. The
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. It always had that 4 buttons.
It did? Oh, all right.
Yes, yeah. The new 3DS does have 2 sets of shoulder buttons.
So it could work.
Finally put Virtual-on a handheld. I hope they do it, because if you want to make one game and sell a console to me, put Virtual-on that console. I guarantee you I will buy that console.
Because it would definitely have the graphical power to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
He's right. Now I can only think of a Donkey Kong Country level. like just seeing Diddy Kong zooming up and down a rope grabbing bananas,
Yeah, that's got to be the exact opposite of what's going on in Virtual-on to this thing, because you're fighting you're fighting this huge mech with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guns.
But it sounds exactly like the Donkey Kong Country music. It's
in the middle of this it's a small couple of buildings here and there, and there's this just huge stretch of road. The level's called Autobahn. It's one of my favorite levels in that game. Just cause of the environments,
you know what else it sounds like?
Goes on distance.
You know what other game it sounds like? Super Mario RPG.
That one I never
played. Super Mario RPG.
Damn it! So now nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about.
I know of the game. I just never heard the music.
Yeah, I know of the game. I just never played it.
It just sounds like some kind of something you would hear in one of the towns in the game. You go buy hammers and weapons and So we ready?
Yeah. Actually, you know what would get me to buy a 3DS? If they put Sonic CD on there.
Oh man. Oh, Sonic CD. I'm so glad they put Sonic CD on the 360. And I'm so glad they put Tails in Sonic CD for the 360. So that's like the only way they could have made that game better, is add Tails. Any game you want to make better, just add Tails. I'll play it.
Also, you know what? I'm a fan of the American music for that game.
I like both.
They're both good, but I really have a nostalgia for the American, even the theme song, Sonic Boom.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah, and they're doing a new cartoon called Sonic Boom. It's a cartoon game.
Oh
tiny.
yeah. Yeah, I probably won't be.
Will this also have wonderfully inappropriate PSAs?
It's gonna be CG. Yeah.
It's a bad touch.
In any case, everybody?
Yep.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to NTR Radio. Alright, before we get to our email, Zeke Freak had a question that he asked K-Gods. No,
Okay.
not Zeke Freak. Jekyll Geek.
Oh, okay.
He wants to know, give me a second. He wants to know, because his first question was, what's everyone looking forward to in October? We asked that.
Right.
We answered that in the first segment.
Yep.
His second question is the P90 just the sexiest gun around? Now, I'm a big fan of the P90. I like it functionally, it's fantastic. It's nice and compact. You have a 50-round magazine, and it's right on top. It's translucent, so you can see how much ammo you have when you're aiming down the sight like that. Perfectly ambidextrous. Even the casings drop out of them, so even when you're shooting left-handed, you don't have to worry about hot brass hitting you in the face. The 5.7 round is masterful. You like it, size of a pistol round, but the penetration power of a rifle round. It's just all around a fantastic weapon system altogether.
As opposed to your wonderfully ranting or wonderful rant-filled diatribe against the Desert Eagle.
Desert Eagle, the most awful pistol.
That's good stuff. Like I said, I actually directed that question toward you.
Yeah.
Because look, I like swords. I like spiky. I like maces. You know, I'm fighter from 8-bit theater.
But as far as
you like melee weapons.
Thank you.
Yeah. But as far as it being sexy, I actually prefer more traditional SMGs like the MP5.
So that's the official word of NTR Radio on that.
The official stance of Time Enforcer Anubis of NTR Radio is that the P90 is a very functionally fantastic weapon system, but as aesthetically, greatly preferred the MP5.
Since you are the expert in that department, you speak for both of us. It's official.
All right, so we have an email from Otaku Anthony.
Oh, okay.
And here it goes.
Incoming message.
Dear NTR Radio, I have a few questions for you guys. First, I know VZ mentioned this before, but what are your guys' favorite doujin artist?
Ooh, okay. Should we just kind of go round robin here?
Yeah, sure.
Well, you want to start, VZ? Since your name is mentioned. We know Salad.
Well, Salad's not really a doujin.
Oh no, that's my bad.
Because he works at.
That was my mistake. Sorry.
So I would say I'm a big fan of Gegura, because I love the way he draws areolas.
Love that specificity there.
Yeah. And hold on. See, the thing is, most of the artists I look at tend to be, you know what it is? I have so many that, and it's like I have their Pixiv account, but I don't. I like that one that draws armpits for like the Automaster and.
And the thing is, it's not just him. I see other people who like that too.
Oh yeah.
Hairy armpits.
It's one of those things that's so outside of my like box. It just is like kind of a you know.
Yeah. The thing is, it works for certain characters.
Oh, it's not even it's not like a snap on anybody or anything like that.
No.
On contrary, I have some pretty weird ones myself.
Yeah.
Oh, I can tell you, I definitely like Mogudan.
Mogudan's pretty.
Me too. And the weird thing about Mogudan is that normally I hate when somebody does that.
Oh yeah, it makes breasts like.
When they make when they don't stay close to model.
Yeah.
And then they go off into ridiculous land.
Oh, that's like Gust. That's like Gust. Everybody's breasts look like.
But it works. For some reason with Rei Ayanami that works.
Mogudan makes it work.
I don't know how. I also love one thing I love about doujins, and I think you guys will know what I mean, is when they have like the little blurb in the beginning of it about it.
Yeah.
Like where it says what they were thinking or what they were doing and they'll just have like funny ass like comments like happy jerking off, you know, or something weird like that.
What that artist's name now? The one I was talking about. Give me a sec.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're looking for Sailor Moon, obviously Black Dog's the guy. Assuming it's a guy. I mean, it might be someone else. I don't know the person. The one thing I've always loved about that is the musical references and all the names and stuff. Even his pen name is Led Zeppelin song.
I like the one. I don't know the guy's name, but you know the one that does the funny or emo type doujins with the
number 2.
Yes,
yeah,
number 2. Yeah. Like
those are fun if you like or emo.
It's just funny. Oh, I love the one. I forgot the name, but the one that did raw and lukewarm Kuroneko. Even though I don't like how it always ends in scat, and that's not my thing.
I think we have our title. It always ends in scat.
Fuck and piss! Let's see. This is the artist I was talking about. Ozawa Reido. That's the one with the armpits I was talking about. Yeah. There's a great one with Ritsuko and Ryo from the Automaster.
Mm.
If you like the Automaster, I highly recommend that.
There was one, I'm not sure who did it, but I think they're called Revelation H. They're the really good Haruhi ones. I can't remember who made those, though. I just remember they were called Revelation H, and there's 2 of them.
I'm a big fan of Kisaragi Gunma.
Okay. Who else? Again, with, like, not to sound like we're, like they were being paid for advertisement or something like that. But
I wish I was being paid to advertise Kisaragi. Listen, I'll do it for free.
Yeah, he does it for free.
Yeah.
Yep. Somebody's groaning about that. But seriously, Faku, that they have kind of went the legit route here.
Yep.
The new one from Homunculus.
I got that one. I bought the digital version. I might order the physical version later.
I was gonna say Russell, but Russell's technically an act because he's also an established.
Renai Sample. Is that what you got?
Renai Sample, yes. But Russell's done some doujin work.
Yeah.
So how is it, by the way?
I haven't read it yet.
Oh, still waiting on that one, huh?
Still waiting on that one.
Well, Tony Taka's done, doujins.
Tony Taka's done doujin work.
And obviously I love all his stuff. He did a really great Clannad one.
Oh yeah.
I think you know which one I mean. It's got her it's got it's not Katomi, it's who was it? Was it
Tomoyo.
The only
That's the one I have.
Tomoyo, is that who I'm thinking of, where they're bent over like on the desk on the cover?
Yeah,
The only Clannad Dojin I can recall, like by memory, is the one where they're all on top of each other, and their asses are painted like the Dango.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I do too now. Isn't that the one? I'm pretty sure that's the one that I actually did a voice acting sample in.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's in color too. That's the fucking funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bonjour, Tomoya-kun. Wasn't it something like that?
Yeah.
Something ridiculous like that. Yeah. Unfortunately, there is actually that. I think that's still floating around out there somewhere. That bad.
It's somewhere. Hopefully, we'll never see it again.
Yeah. I could probably live without that.
Anyway, moving on. Second, what video game franchise, current or historical, would you like to see get an anime adaptation? I know, Virtual On. Let's do it.
Nobody could have seen that.
Hmm.
You know what I think would be awesome? It's probably too old to actually happen, which makes me sad, but it would be sweet if it did. Something from Phantasy Star.
Ooh.
Oh, yes.
Like
not
the old Genesis games?
Not
the online thing, but the old Genesis game.
Yeah, you know, like that have what the hell are they called? I cannot think of their name. But it has the like fuck, I can't think of the name of it. It's pissing me off. It's like Rika and Nay, Newmans, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's got like, you know, some of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would also say
that would be sweet.
Maybe Castlevania.
As long as they don't turn Simon Belmont into the dude that was on Captain N.
What
in the hell was up with that?
I would say like some of the spaceship shooters that I really like Abadox would make a cool, like not a series, but would make a cool like little OVA, 45-minute OVA type thing.
A lot of those shooters would make really good just one-shot OVAs.
Which weirdly enough, Salamander, which is like a side story to Gradius, that got a 3-episode OVA.
Speaking of that, we need one for Zero Wing.
Yeah.
Come on, you know it would be hilarious. It might not be good.
Of course
but it would be entertaining. And it also has to have Bohemian Rhapsody in it.
Oh, of course.
Maybe R-Type.
R-Type. They could probably make a pretty interesting OVA out of Radiant Silvergun.
Any side scrollers? What about I would Rocket Knight Adventures?
If they could get the funding, they could do something good with Lunar.
Ooh, yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Oh, me too.
I'd watch the hell out of that.
I remember.
That was a series that I actually think didn't really get enough props.
About the Sega CD Lunar?
Or the PlayStation version.
Or whatever, yeah. And it was on Saturn too, wasn't it?
Yeah. You know who the character designer of that is?
I should know this.
I do.
Yeah, I have to know it by name because.
You're gonna just say it. I'm gonna drive myself bonkers.
Yeah.
Sadamoto, the same.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Ava.
Yeah.
I mean, was it main girl Luna? Was that it? She looks kind of like Misato with like.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
I honestly never even thought of that. She does look a lot like her. That smile and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can get my emulator out after this and play some Lunar. I'm ready.
You heard it here. We're inspiring each other to play different video games and shit.
And now, third question. If money wasn't an object and you were given total control over the project, what type of anime series would you create? And I'm gonna assume this is in relation to the previous question. So if they gave me the project, complete total control, like Mamoru Nagano control over the project of the Virtual On anime, I would make a 12-part OVA, 1-hour-long episodes, I would get Hajime Katoki to do the mecha designs, and it would basically be like it span from the very earliest known events of the timeline from Counterpoint 009A all the way to Virtual on Mars, and it would just be like battles and shit in between that, and all the politics and backroom corporate dealings that are going on, and friggin' Amber 4 pointing the solar ray at Earth, and it turns out that's just a ruse, and he's just using that to get out of DN Corporation and form his own shit, and now Tangram's in it, and it would just be that. It would be the ultimate Virtual on fan wank.
Okay, I got an idea now. All right.
Oh wait.
Okay. Now, if we're going on that, and if we're connecting what I said, a Phantasy Star based one, it would probably also take the form of OVAs. I don't know, probably 4 or 5, and it'd be based off of End of the Millennium. It would have lots of cool space travel sequences, landing on different planets and shit. It would have obviously all the main characters. It would also have sex and gratuitous shower scenes.
It would also have sex, just cause.
gratuitous shower scenes. Thank you. It would probably
even
also
with Demi the android, and Ren and Demi.
Maybe not so much.
Yeah, robot sex.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, I just got this bad visual of them on an artificial satellite, bent over like a console. Why?
Because I love putting terrible imagery in your head.
Yes, you do.
Right?
I could see. Okay, realistically, I could see Elise and Rune together, and of course Chaz and Rika would of course be together.
Yeah.
And certainly there's going to be bad jokes about the horns, the ears, involved there. But if that's not really feasible, a couple other ideas.
Total creative control of the project.
If right. But I'm saying
if Virtual on into a hentai if it wanted.
Fair enough. But if I wasn't going to go that route, I have 2 other ideas. But these are going to be less involved and short. 1. Crossbone.
Ooh, yeah.
Just because it needs to happen, and I'm telling you, I'm not giving up hope on it.
I think honestly, they will eventually make something Crossbone.
Or 2.
Got
it. That, or 2, it would just be an original IP where people with mecha where lolis just fight each other. Every character in it is a loli.
I'd watch that. I'd watch that 15 times.
All right, I'll go. Joke answer would be, pregnant lolis in school.
Name it that too. Pregnant lolis in school.
In school. That is the name of the show.
But if I wanted to be a little bit more in depth, I would want something that's like actually completely like it wouldn't have any moe or girl elements. It would just be robots that are sentient, that are the characters, and would just be fighting in a sort of shonen DBZ-ish style, with like glossy, really high production value.
Getting knocked into rings in a planet.
Kinda, maybe something like that, or just just really crazy, like almost kill type fighting it like that. So it would probably be like I would get like a combination of Trigger and maybe some Shaft, because Shaft could do good action scenes.
Okay, here's something I missed when I was doing mine, and I actually wanted, because you guys missed this too. I actually want to know what you guys would do for this. Who's gonna be your character designer? Because I got my mecha designer. I didn't miss that. But
for me, I would be the mecha designer because it would be I would be the guy.
So you're saying our first choice?
Yeah. You have every single character designer ever is lined up in front of you.
Oh,
Pick
shit.
one.
Oh man, that's ridiculous. Whew. Who would I think would-
I got an idea. I would fund Russell, have Russell or Salad make his thing into an anime. All
Hey,
right.
total creative control.
I would have
Comic-
Mogadon design my characters.
Okay. Well, there, Mogadon has done hentai. There is hentai with Mogadon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well,
Okay,
yeah.
I got it. I got it now. Also, think of like Cream Lemon, but or anthology hentai, but it would adapt stories from Comic LO.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Jesus.
Wow.
Shit.
Man, I would love that.
Yeah. This. Okay, I got to think for a minute to get this name, or it's because that is a big, Whew. Talk
See, I was
amongst
thinking-
yourselves.
Yeah, I
Pregnant
was thinking
Lois in school.
Keiji Goto, the character designer from Nadesco, because I really love the character designs in that show.
Right.
Because part of the thing is you never see any of the pilots in Virtual On.
Right.
Like there exists like one figure of a pilot from Virtual On, and she's not even from the game. She's from some side story.
So you can have them be like, I don't know, lolis or whatever. Or cute girl.
There is a character who is a young girl, Lillian Plazner. So she could be a loli until we get to Mars and she's grown and shit. But that's kind of the issue with Virtual On, is that you never see any of the characters. It's all just inside a robot all the time. You're either inside a robot or you're hearing someone's voice from inside of their robot.
I would also love.
It's really cool though, because there's no characters, the mecha have to be really expressive. So like there's this group of 3 in Virtual on Mars called the Rose Sisters, and they're kind of like the Powerpuff Girls, where you got the bitch, you got the nice one, you got the leader.
Sorry.
And it's the 3 of them, and you're sitting there, and they're talking inside their mechs naturally, and one of them starts walking up towards you, and her mech sways its hips while it walks. I just think that's the coolest shit ever. Like for a show that's just robots, they're the most expressive robots I've seen in most works of media.
You know what I would love to see? That would be something to fund. All right, none of you. No, actually, you've seen K-Gods. You've seen Nokami, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, a side story that's just focused on the one I like, Iyame.
Mm.
You know, the one with the implants. and I would love it to be like how she got them and all that.
Breast enhancement surgery, the animated series.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, it was part of the absolute choice thing, but yeah.
I had to really think about this. Who do I think would bring the Phantasy Star characters to life for a character design? And I got it.
Right.
Okay, Haruhiko Mikimoto. If that name is not familiar to you, it's the character designer for War in the Pocket.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Backcrust.
Yeah.
And Gunbuster.
Yep.
But he's not really in the industry anymore. That's the thing.
Hey, creative
Hey,
control.
Total creative control.
That's true.
Total,
Yeah.
We can here's what total
Dead
creative
people.
control means to me. We can bring people back from the dead, but just for this one purpose. Like we can't just bring, I want to bring this person back from the dead. We don't have that power. We only have the power to bring back from the dead people who have worked in the anime industry.
Yeah, I would love to get Mamoru Nagano, but see, Mamoru Nagano would only want
Mamoru Nagano would take total creative control from you.
exactly.
That would be like it was your project. Was being the key word.
Now it's Mamoru Nagano.
Like I
Just
imagine
him walking into your studio, he's like, "Bitch, get out of here! It's my project."
I could see him. You know, he is a control freak. He himself says he is.
Yeah.
The funniest idea I have of that is him always having to have like the last word on something. So like you could be talking about something, he's not even in your fucking state, and he's popping his head out of nowhere like a cartoon character, from like Bugs Bunny popping his head on. I don't agree with that.
It's
Like,
true.
It's like I think we're gonna make a toy of this thing. That's what you think. Okay. Ow.
Let me bring the email back up.
How about redo Paradise of Innocence but in a theatrical format?
With like the symphony orchestra.
Yes.
Anyway, that's the end of the email.
Yeah.
Okay, well that was fun.
And it would move the crowd to tears.
So it would be a crying game.
Yeah.
That was so beautiful.
It's like Key, because the lowlies must suffer.
Well, I said
That was actually an image macro going around.
Well, I said Paradise of Innocence, so something else would be leaking something.
Yeah.
And with
Those
that,
are
we're
tears.
probably gonna wrap it up,
With
because that is indeed male tears.
That's the show.
That's what they mean by manly tears.
Yeah. Ugh.
The email address is ntrradio@gmail.com. The website is she'slostcontrol.net/podcast. Check out VZ stuff at vzmk2moy and mekagatai.wordpress.com. Okay, guys, the site isn't done yet, is it?
Actually, I am working on putting up the last stuff now. It's just a matter of actually running it through, like, spell check and all that shit.
Yeah.
Also, 2 weeks from now, I should be at Comic-Con.
Ballin'. Get pumped for K-God's site, docuwash.com.
Yes, it is a .com.
.com.
Yes. Look forward to the articles there, seeing what you write up.
Look forward to K-God stuff. Look forward to VZ's report from New York Comic-Con.
Yeah, I'll probably just post photos of what I got. You know.
Also, assuming things don't go wrong, we're probably gonna have a guest
Indeed.
Yeah.
that will also be attending
Yes.
New York Comic-Con.
Also, the Geeky Panda is going to be at New York Comic-Con, so if you see him, say hi.
Right.
Check out Otaku Midnight. They're the other podcast on She's Lost Control Media. They're really good.
Oh, by the way, if you want to if you want to know, just look for the guy with the Mayoi T-shirt.
If you're at New York Comic-Con, look for the guy with the Mayo t-shirt. That's
Yeah.
VZ. Go up, say hi.
And don't say you're a creepy motherfucker.
Don't call him a creepy motherfucker because he resents that.
Because I actually got called a creepy at a Comic-Con one time years ago.
What the fuck? Like, who just goes up to
Was it
people
just some
and says,
random
"You're creepy"?
fucking dude?
No, I was talking to someone, and he was like a viewer of Toy Box DX.
Oh.
Oh, well,
And
that explains it.
I was saying, like, yeah, I can speak Japanese. I know what Paizuri is, and, you know, I was just being joking. It's like,
It's
You're
hard-
creepy.
Those people can't take a joke.
yeah,
They
you
really
know,
can't.
you know, yeah, whatever. All
In
right,
any case, I'm Tom Enforcer Anubis.
And I'm K-Odds.
and I'm VZ Mark II.
And even though everything turns into scat whenever we say it, this is NTR Radio.